So today we are going to talk about how do we mint our NFT collections. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I am going to show you how to mint on Polygon. Um, there are a few websites that can help you mint your collection. A lot of the websites earlier would require you to pay a high access fee to use the no code building experience. But now, because of the NFT market itself seeing a slowdown, many of them have made it free for you to mint, but they will take a percentage of the profits you make. So if you're minting a free collection, technically the entire process is free. You do have to pay for deploying the contracts though. Okay, so that is something that you pay for because generally a contract deployment on Ethereum can easily even go up to $400,000, $500,000. But when it comes to paying for paying for using the platform itself, the usage is free, but then the way they structure it is, let's say you're trying to sell an NFT, and then depending on the platform you're using, some platforms will charge you maybe $1 per NFT as a flat fee. Some other platforms might charge you 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, right? So those things, they change. So I'm going to show you a couple of different platforms here. So one of the most well-known platforms on Ethereum for minting is NiftyKit. Okay, so let's quickly look at NiftyKit. It's a no-code smart contracts platform. They are one of the original platforms to bring the no-code experience to people, right? So this is the site, and you can actually, they also have widgets. So if you have your own website, you can use what they have as the backend for minting, but then instead of sending people to NiftyKit, you can just embed their widget on your website. And that way people don't have to leave your website to go and mint your collection. And they also have like revenue splits and stuff. You can also create token gated companies. So they have these other different features too. Okay. I'm going to go and let's take a look at the pricing, for example. So you can see that everything, there is a free tier. Then they have custom for enterprises, but a lot of people just start off with the free tier. And at one point, they had provided people with some NFTs, which reduce this price. So for example, I have an NFT where if I were to mint something for a paid collection, then I think I have to pay like 5% versus 10%. Okay. But as you can see, most of the things are included. Whatever you need to actually just mint a collection, it's all right here. I am not affiliated with the NiftyKit team, by the way. Okay. Then there is another platform called Heyman.xyz. The founders are actually people that I know here. Again, I'm just showing you these platforms. Obviously, go out, do your own research, figure things out on yourself too. But I'm just showing you a couple of options that you can go and explore, right? So these guys, as you can see, they say that, you can launch everything and just do it for free, but they do charge you like $1 per mint unless they even changed it anyway. But this is another one. You also have an allow list functionality with them, which you can use to create, like build your own allow list manager. And with the allow list manager, you don't have to pay any money because the other alternatives is pre-mint. So how the allow list functions is, if you want to create like a little bit of FOMO around yourself, around the sale, right? Or if you want to just, sometimes popular mints, I mean, now for NFTs in general, it's not a popular era. But at the time, at its height, a lot of popular mints would get botted, right? So then what people started doing was they started creating whitelists. So that way their community members were the ones who got to mint. So unless a contract address, a wallet address was not on the allow list or whitelist, people would not be able to mint. So when it started, people were calling it whitelists, but now people call it allow list because obviously, as you know, right, in general, whitelist and blacklist, it does have roots in racism, and allow list is something that's more inclusive, per se. That's why people call it allow list. Okay. So even here, you can see that they are just saying that, hey, allow list manager. So generally in the Web3 world, now you'll see the word allow list being used more than whitelist, but in it, at its core, both of them are the same. So you have this is another platform that you can mint with. Another platform that I have looked at is Flare.finance. Their focus is more on production now, but even they have a subscription-based model where you can mint on a lot of chains, and they have a lot of contracts. Their contracts are not just for NFT minting. If you want to launch a no-code token as well, you can actually mint with them, with these guys. So this is Flare.finance. Obviously, their website is like pretty sparse, but yeah, you can basically see all the things that they have. So this is actually part of their enterprise thing as well, but they do have a backend on this site. So when you log in using that backend, you can also mint collections. More than Flare.dev, because their focus has shifted, I would still encourage people to look at like Niftikit or Heyman.xyz. Then you also can actually mint on platforms like Opensea, right? So Opensea also allows you to just create a collection. So here, if you go here, um, let me just change this. Okay, forget it. I just need to. There we go. Okay. So even on OpenSea, you can see that we have this option of creating collections. Okay. The only issue with this is that when you create a collection with this, you are basically creating a collection with OpenSea. What that means is you don't actually own that collection. OpenSea owns the collection. So that is the only drawback. But if you want some simple experience, you can use it. And OpenSea at the moment does not provide you a way to bulk upload data. So if you're trying to mint 1,000 pieces at once, OpenSea is definitely not the best solution. Now, I'm saying minting, but actually it is more like setting it up, because with platforms like Polygon, Ethereum, etc., a lot of the platforms for these chains, they provide lazy minting. So what lazy minting means, every time you're minting an NFT, there are gas fees that you have to pay, okay, for the process of minting it, inscribing it on the blockchain. Lazy mint means you can present your NFTs here, but your buyer will pay the fees, the mint fees, when they are buying the NFTs. Okay. So there are different contracts also. As we look at these contracts, you can actually see if you want to create like a completely free NFT onboarding experience. So we'll see contracts here where the contracts are completely no code. Okay. And you can specify whether, right? So, you can specify whether or not you want to sponsor the gas fees. Okay. Then you have, yeah, so let's also, I actually don't have an account with these guys, but let's just use one. We'll just use this one. Then, we can look at different things, right? Like what all options are available. Sorry, besides this, you also have Manifold. So Manifold is another platform that you can use to actually create your site. And the good thing about Manifold is that it allows you to just, create your own contract. So Manifold is also a very good site. Their marketplace is also good, right? So, and they also allow you for batch minting and stuff. So, yeah. So, this is the Manifold one. Let's also connect to Manifold. So you can see what's there. I am actually connecting to all of these platforms using my wallet, but be very careful what platforms you are connecting with, right? Because sometimes some of the if the platforms you are not aware of them, you don't know what they are, it is better not to connect your wallet at all. Or you can try connecting a burner wallet to these platforms. With these platforms, I already have my accounts associated. That's why, I know these platforms. So I'm connecting my wallet. But if there is any new platform that you're working with and you're not sure, first of all, like when in doubt, maybe just let it go. But if you have to work on it and you want to explore and it's a completely new platform, just create a new wallet and log in with it. Don't use your existing wallets. Okay, just be very careful when signing in to any of these platforms with your wallets. Okay. All
Hey,
right. So yeah, Jerry.
don't mean to interrupt, but I noticed, so it sounds like Manifold is along the lines of Haymint, Flare, and Nifty Kit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just another platform that allows us to mint NFTs and
Yeah.
create them and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
On
you
on
mentioned the
Manifold.
idea. Okay, pardon. What's the difference? Like, why would you suggest Manifold or?
You can take a pick. I mean, while you're exploring, you can choose whatever you
Okay.
like and whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But Manifold has, in the past year especially, gained quite a good reputation as an easy to use platform that
Mm-hmm.
people can quickly go and, just create a contract on. So here, for example, for our test purposes, let's try to create a contract, right? So you'll see how it is. So here I'm just going to put a test contract name. We'll call it get set test. Now you have ERC 721 and ERC 1155. The difference between these two contracts, ERC 721 is where each NFT is different. ERC 1155 is for semi-fungible tokens. Okay. So I know that you have heard the word non-fungible, and in our session, we had also spoken about semi-fungible. I don't know how many of you remember, but a semi-fungible token, a non-fungible token is always one of a kind, right? But a semi-fungible token is like N of a kind. So it is like saying that, hey, in this game, you can mint the armor or a skin as an NFT, but there are only 1,000 skins, and we will never create more copies of these skins in the game and sell them. So in this case, it is a semi-fungible token because it is not just one skin, right? Like, not just like only one copy of the skin. You have 1,000 skins that are exactly the same, and you're able to identify them, like who's the owner, etc. But from a design aesthetic perspective, from a perspective of being like literally the same object, all 1,000 of them are the same. However, there are not going to be more than 1,000. So this category is known as semi-fungible tokens, but nobody really uses the word SFTs. Everybody just uses the word NFTs. Okay. So in our case, we'll just say ERC 721 and you can give it a symbol. So I'll just say like, GitSA1. And when you're ready for your main network, you can actually switch to main network. Here they are providing you with two options. Okay, so Manifold doesn't have, actually I should try switching my network. And then, oh, right here. Okay, so they only have Optimism and Ethereum. They only have support for these two. Optimism is obviously much cheaper than Ethereum, but still at the same time, Optimism is, let's refresh this. It's not as cheap as Polygon, okay? So your Manifold website doesn't support Polygon. However, it does give you the option to, like mint on Optimism. Now here you can see what are the fees typically. So on Ethereum, like right now they're showing it's 741, but the more things you add to the contract, the more expensive it can become. And also gas fees are very subjective, okay? And then on Optimism, as you can see, it is much cheaper, like 10x cheaper, right? The reason why on Ethereum their contracts is cheaper is because a lot of the times these websites, they use something called as delegator contracts or proxy contracts. So they actually have a main set of contracts that they have written and deployed for which they have paid the fees, and all the code is in that. When you create a contract here, it's just a proxy contract wherein essentially it doesn't actually have the main logic uh, embedded in that contract. It makes a call to the main contract. Okay, that's why, it's a delegator proxy contract. It makes a call to the main contract, and the main contract, then the execution happens through that main contract. So the call, the minting will still cost you the same because, when you're calculating the gas fees, it's calculated for the end-to-end process. But at least in terms of deployment, because the logic is much simpler than deploying a full contract with all the logic embedded in it, the deployment fees are much lower. Okay. All right. So then you have this. But remember, even if the contract deployment cost, like you might think that, okay, $1 versus $7, $7 is fine. It's the cost to mint each NFT that will drastically change as well. All right. And when Ethereum gets really jacked up on gas, like I have personally even paid $40, $50, $60, $70 to mint an NFT, just to mint it, okay, just for the gas fees, not the cost of the NFT, just for the gas fees. And people, there are other people, like when Other Side came out, Other Side is a Yuga Labs NFT. People were trying to get their mint and they were trying to front run others so they could mint. People have even paid like $6,000, $7,000 in just the gas fees. So the gas fees were more than the price of the NFT as well. Okay. So when you're thinking about which chain to deploy on, you want to try and keep these things in mind and figure out what makes most sense. All right. So here, instead of the main network, I'll just do test network. I'll say gets 1, and then even here, maybe I'll just say GTS 1. Switch network. So now it's asking us to switch to a test network. I'm just going to do that because I'd switched to Polygon. And then you can just go and click on deploy. They automatically use ERC. Okay. Yeah, we'll just say GTS 1. Okay. Right, this is our mark. And as you can see, it's kind of like a signature part of the contract. You can actually create like your own mark that actually, essentially looks like this. So if you remember, if you know some of the licenses and stuff that you download, you see banners like this created. So you can create something like this, which can also have information contained in there, and it will all be visible when the collection is minted on Manifold. So we'll just say deploy. Because this is on the test network, these guys are paying the go early testnet fees, I hope, because I don't know if I have enough money in this one. Okay, I actually do have some go early. So for the go early, this, like, for the test network, it's called go early. Yeah, and then this is the, I don't remember which faucet I used to use to, you have to get like, different faucets. Faucets basically just allow you to get some. This go early is done, will be shut down at the end of the year. Right. Okay. So, if you want to get some ETH for your test network, you have to get it from a faucet, right? So this is a faucet. You can find other faucets too. But anyway, that's the thing. And then it takes some time to deploy the contract. When it is done, it's done. And then, you just view the contract. So it automatically comes with the bells and whistles. Once the contract is deployed, you'll see how you can change things on the contract. We'll just give it time to deploy. Now, on the other hand, let's look at Nifty Kit's experience. Okay, so, we'll come back to this, but in the meantime, let's look at Nifty Kit's experience. So I actually have an NFT with Nifty Kit, but I'm not going to use that, just so that you see how free collections can be created. And I'm going to see if I will create a collection or not, because I already have a collection. So I can show you the details there. right? So here, you can create a collection. You can even revenue split allows you to create a collection, but you use revenue split when you want to split the royalties from that collection with more than one wallet. So both of the wallets can also belong to you. You can have 3, 4 wallets also belong to you. The more wallets you add, the higher are the gas fees, right? Because that many more transactions need to be performed. Um, Most of the times people use the revenue split to actually determine how the royalty should be split between the core team members or between the designer and the marketer and things like that. Okay. But if you are a single person RB and you're doing everything by yourself, you can just click on collection, for example. So here you can choose whether you want to create like, one-off-ones, in which case most likely, most of your um, items are like one-of-one edition. So, okay, hold on. Actually, we'll look at both of them. So here you can create your dropped. The collection is for like 1,500, whatever, right? A couple of hundred, 10,000. You use that. Okay, so you can give it a name, correction URL, and then you can create a collection. So I'm just going to show you one that I already have created. This is a collection that we already have created here. When I click on it, I'll be able to manage it. Just give me a minute. So we had created this for testing purposes and just to, distribute for fun with people. So here what happens is, this is like after you create your collection, this is the view that you get. Okay. So this was a free mint collection. So that's why we don't have any money being collected here. Or else you would have seen some money and you would have seen the withdraw option. Now, this collection we had deployed on Polygon. Okay, Matic is Polygon. And because it was a free mint collection, we didn't even want to pay for the gas fees and stuff. So here, when it comes to configuring the drop itself, in this case, all of the items, even though we deployed it as an ERC 721A, all of the items actually have the same object. So this is how you set it up when you want to make it for just one object still as ERC 721A. So you create like a pre-reveal image here. I am giving you just all of these things at a high level because when you work with these platforms, they have very good documentation as well as they'll have onboarding workflows as well. So you can use those workflows. Okay. But I just want to give you a quick overview of these platforms in the session today. So here you can either have a separate image for each of these things, and you don't actually create these one by one. Okay, you can see there is a CSV export and there's also an import asset. So when you look at import asset, where you're just importing the assets without the metadata, because one of the things you can do is you can import just your assets. And what this website will automatically do is, by assets, they mean, like images or videos and stuff. They will automatically upload that to IPFS, and then they will give you a URL, which you can then add to your metadata. Okay. So yes, last time when we worked on the code, I don't remember if we did the metadata generation, but if not, I'm just going to quickly show you what the metadata files look like. So in the code that we had seen last time, there was a code for metadata. I think we went through this, right? So I'd shown you that, hey, once you update it to IPFS, you put it here. So in our case, we are uploading this step, for example, if I showed you how to download NFT storage, NFT up from NFT storage and create this URL. But if you're using Nifty Kit, you could actually go and just upload all your assets from here, for example, right? And it's asking me to connect. So let me. The account that I'm connecting with, this account doesn't have the NFT. So, I will actually see. I am seeing the same process that all of you will see. Actually, oh, sorry, I wouldn't be able to edit this collection. Surprisingly, it's allowing me to. But technically, if you have a different wallet, right, that your NFT, whatever you have deployed from is, then you have to connect that. Okay, so here you can just browse an entire folder and upload that entire folder. So if you have created your one-of-one assets, right, let's say you created a collection of 1,000, those files are image files are ready. You just browse folder, look at that image file, select the folder, and you can upload it. Once the upload is done, it generates an IPFS URL and it gives it to you. So now you can then take that IPFS URL, right? This is only if you use the asset uploader of Nifty Kit to upload your assets. You also have the option to actually upload your assets by yourself and then go to Nifty Kit and then just directly click on metadata. Okay. So when you just click on metadata directly, even that allows you to upload the metadata. And in that case, it will read the IPFS URL inside the metadata to fetch your image. Here's another thing. Many people think that you have to upload everything on IPFS to actually mint a collection. So IPFS, as I mentioned last time, intraplanetary file system. It allows you to upload files that would be immutable by nature. You cannot change the content of a file on IPFS. If you want to change the content, you upload a new file. But at the same time, like blockchain, it is immutable. But unlike blockchain, it doesn't have persistent storage. So because of that, what happens is you have to pin the IPFS folders, right? And the pinning can be expensive. So in our case, I'd mentioned that, we store our NFT images right now on Backblaze, which is an AWS sort of a storage, but much cheaper. It's actually much cheaper than using decentralized IPFS storage as well. So in our case, instead of using IPFS URLs, we are using the base URL of the Backblaze folder where these NFTs are saved. Okay. So just remember that you don't necessarily just have to have an IPFS URL. It can be any HTTPS URL as well. All right, so once your metadata is ready, you can just browse, go to your metadata folder, wherever that is. Oh, sorry. And you can just select the JSON. In my case, all of the metadata is in the JSON folder. So you can just select that folder and upload. Okay. Now I can add items to this collection, but I cannot just delete items, but I can also edit individual items. All right. So, I can add some properties now here because I hadn't created like metadata externally. So there are no properties and all of them were the same. So we didn't have any property created separately. But if you upload your metadata, you will see the property values over here, like, in the key value pair. So if I open up one of the metadata formats for this one, so, if you look at the JSON file that we have here, for example, right, and let me just take it to pretty, actually, let's just open a file here. Oh, actually, sorry, I don't have the plugin to just to make it prettier. So I'll just do pretty JSON online. Right, so this is the collection. So you see all of these trait value pairs. So this is the metadata for one of the objects, and that object is 1.png. Okay, it's like index 1. So here you can see this is the full image URL. This whole thing is the full image URL, and then it has multiple attributes. When you're determining the rarity of the collection, these attributes help you determine how many times they have occurred in order to determine which items are how rare in the collection, and then they are ranked by rarity. So these same key value pairs, if you go back to Nifty Kit, you can actually add those as properties, right? So here the type, for example, would be background and the value would be Ocean's 11, for example. Okay. All right. So, you can do that. And once all of that is done, this is normally as, you'll see a start public sale button. So you can click on it and you can start your public sale. So you also have the widget builder, which is what you could use to create, like a mint button, for example, right? Like, hey, mint an NFT. So you just take the button and put it on your website, and it will automatically connect with the backend functionality at NiftyKit to allow people to mint their NFTs. Okay. What else? Okay, so now if you store all your metadata in NiftyKit API, then you can edit it later on. But once you store it in metadata on IPFS, you cannot edit that later on. Okay. All right. I think, yeah, that's mostly about it. Even NiftyKit allows you to add whitelists, waitlist, they call it. So waitlist, allow list, whitelist, they are the same thing. But the thing over here is with NiftyKit, hold on. So with NiftyKit, they don't allow you a way to collect allow lists. On the other hand, Haymint allows you to collect allow lists. It also, it also provides this no-code sort of interface to create a full collection, right? And mint that collection at no cost. So let me just go in here, log in again. Okay. So they have some services to offer. So, you can get like one-on-one support from them if you want. They have their guides. Let's look at how creating a new collection here looks like. Okay. So as I told you, you have edition as well, where you have a single owner, multiple owner of an edition, right? Or you have a generative art collection like the one I spoke to you about, right? Like a 10K, 1K collection. Edition is also normally 721A, but the way they collect it, so this is 1155, right? Edition as a single owner is similar to what I showed you here, for example, right? Like this is like an edition. So even though I configure it as a drop, basically, you have like a single image, but this edition equivalent is basically this thing that you see here. That it's all the same image, but you have different owners for each one of them. Whereas and each one of them is also minted as a separate NFT with a separate serial ID. Whereas this one is a completely different contract time, ERC 1155. And technically in ER 1155, what would happen is each one of them, you will just see one NFT. But when you open it like on Opensea, you will see that one NFT has multiple owners. Okay. So yes, so that those are the two things you can create. And we are just going to go through their quick guide. They have a quick guide over here. So as you can see, this is like these screenshots literally show you the process, right? So when you click on, when we click on create connection, we have already connected our wallet and stuff. It will take us here. It will show us what we want to create. Then we have to fill in the basic information about the collection, not each NFT, but the collection as a whole. You put that. Then Haymint also allows you. So as I said, Manifold only allows you to mint on Ethereum, and Goerli is the testnet for Ethereum, and on Optimism. Haymint allows you to mint on Ethereum, Polygon, Arbitrum, and Optimism, and also the testnets for all of those test networks are available. Then once you select where you want to mint, always mint on the testnet first. Try to explore if everything works fine on the testnet, and then go and mint on the mainnet. Okay, you will spend just the testnet currency. And typically, if you're looking for testnet currency, if you search for the name of the testnet plus faucet on Google, you will find it. Okay, faucet. So generally, you will find a faucet from where you can go and mine some of the currency, collect it, and then you can come back here and you can use that currency to test out your collection. So you specify all the details. And then here's the thing, right? On Ethereum, if you're minting anything on Ethereum here, as I told you, it charges you like $1. So Haymint is not the best choice for free mints because you still have to pay like $1 to mint everything. Okay. But if you're minting NFTs where each NFT is like $100 or $200, then this is great as a no-code platform because they charge you like a flat fee. Then you configure your payouts and royalties. I'm just going to extend this a little bit so you guys can see the screenshots better. You configure your payouts, your loyalties. This wallet address should be the wallet address where you want the royalties to be paid out to. You can also add multiple addresses. So you can perform a royalty split. Remember though that, oh, sorry, these are two separate sections. So this is like the primary sale. Proceeds from the primary sale, all 100% of whatever you raise from primary will go to this wallet. And even the primary sale you can split. Then you have royalties. Somehow they don't have split royalties in here. And as you know, Nifty has split royalties. Even Flare actually has a very good split royalty thing. But Flare right now, their focus is enterprise. So they are kind of like, lagging in the just NFT focus area. So then you enter your royalty payout address, enter the percentage, hit create collection. You'll have the collection and now you get to the contract management screen. So from the contract management screen, you go and add to, your art layers. Okay, so Haymint, remember we ran the Python program, right? To create different variations of our object. I feel like that is an easy way to get things done. But if you only have the layers and you don't know how to program or you find programming difficult, Haymint actually allows you, it also gives you this platform to create those one-of-one final outputs without any coding knowledge. So what you have to do though is you upload your assets in different layers, right? One layer at a time. So here you see, right? Please select a single folder to upload that contains subfolders for each layer. So for example, if we go back to our NFTs, right? Here, if you remember in assets, each of this is a layer, right? So what we'll have to do is we'll have to upload each of the folder one by one. And then it takes the layer names from there. You can choose the layer order. Like let's say, you upload all of them, then you realize that, oh, my head is behind my background. So you can adjust the layer order. Once you have uploaded everything, you can adjust the layer orders, right? So, you can just go through this at your own. I'll actually just put this in Zoom so you all can also take a look at this. You put your layer order over here, you drag and drop, and then you can also see a preview as what it will look like. And then finally, when everything looks good, you'll click on generate collection and it will take some time, but it will create 1K, whatever size collection you want. I think they do have a limitation on the maximum number you can create because or else, people will end up abusing their system. But it's a pretty generous number still. Then, once you have finished that generation, you can see what your generated artwork looks like. These people, they actually started from a project called Curious Addies, and this was the artwork for that project. So Nate was the founder of the project, Nate, and now we have Mai. Mai is actually leading this, so they are the founders of the project. Now, once you've uploaded your layers, if you want, you can also change the rarity, right? Which means, here you can see all of these come up 25%. But let's say I want the rainbow one to come up only 5%. All of these together should actually add to 100%. Okay. But then, if I make this 25, maybe, if I make this 5, then maybe I can add 10 here, 10 here, another 5 here. Okay. So you can work on configuring different rarities. Now, sometimes, you don't want, let's say you don't want this base to come up with, let's say, another item that is the same color, right? So if you have some rules like that, but you also need to know which layers those are, you can just add some of these colors together. Okay. which will allow you to begin for your collection. These rules are only appears if a token has, never appears if a token has, always appears together with. So for example, here they are saying that this face and these eyes should always appear together with a necklace sort of lay. Okay. And you can, it's all visual, so you can easily pick and choose your rules and build them out. So once all of your rules are done, oh, and sometimes we create like one-of-one NFTs, right? So a lot of the times what NFT collectors would do is they will generate the entire collection, but they will hand make something special that they call like, just a one-of-one, and they will just add like maybe 10, 15, 20 of them, and these are always going to be super rare in the collection because they are created by hand, so they cannot match any of the other generations. Now obviously by hand it doesn't mean the way we did our paint 3D, right, where we put the layers together and we created it. By hand I don't mean that, I mean somebody actually put in the effort to make like unique artwork that people cannot find anywhere. So in this case, for example, this is a unique one-of-one that they had created, which was New Year's Eve Addy. Then a Girlverse Addy, they created a dedication for Girlverse. And then they had also created like this Love Struck Addy. So they minted these tokens. I mean, what they did was out of the generated objects, sorry, the generation that was done. After that, you can actually replace each token one by one to add your true one-offs in the collection. That's about it. So, then you do that, you upload the metadata, and in this platform, they will automatically, even though it says upload the metadata, but they will create the metadata for you. They will also upload it to IPFS. So this is also a very easy to use platform, right? And it takes away any kind of coding work altogether. Once all of this is done, you can also set up again the pre-reveal excitement. So pre-reveal, the way it works is, a lot of the people just to get some excitement around, hey, what am I going to mint, right? And also, as I told you earlier, when NFTs were very popular, Ethereum mints used to get botted. So if people were able to figure out, because people would deploy their contract before the minting, right? And from the contract, it was easy to figure out where the metadata is stored. From the metadata, it was easy to figure out what kind of images are being used. Okay. So the pre-reveal image actually allows you to hide that information, and then people don't know what they're getting. So it provides a certain kind of security against those bots, because they don't know which of the items, like normally when bots are using this, they're trying to only mint the most rare items in the collection so they can make money from it, right? In this case, it's a blind mint, nobody knows what they're getting. And then after the mint, after like within 12 hours a day, whatever, you can then change from pre-revealed to revealed. It's just a matter of removing the pre-reveal image in this case, okay? And they have also explained, like, why, like I said, the first reason really is just gaming. And the second reason here is just around an event or something. Sometimes it's also just to invoke FOMO. It also allows people to just blind trade, right? Just increases the fun of it. You can also have a GIF image as a pre-reveal animation being uploaded. It can also be MP4. There are different formats. But depending on the device you're looking at, the other formats might not always play directly. So you can use a GIF, which at this point is compatible with almost all of the platforms you use. Right. So, guys, after this, it just talks about how do you deploy a contract. And I know I'm kind of just rushing through it. But here's the thing, they also allow you to show a contract summary where you can see what exactly is being deployed. So here you can, as you can see over here, you can add some special features. So soulbound tokens are where once the NFTs get in your wallet after mint, you cannot transfer it to any other wallet. Even if you have your own second wallet, you cannot transfer it. So that is soulbound NFTs, okay? So if you want to give people soulbound NFTs, you can click on it. If you want to allow people to stake their NFTs in future, you can click on this so that that NFT staking functionality is built into the contract. Then you also have something called as a refund. So if you want people to refund, when you turn this on, it will ask you like, within how many days should the refund be processed. You can also add NFT loaning. Then if you want some people to burn this for free, you can, sorry, mint it for free. You can add the whitelist by collection name over here. Burn to mint, random hash. So basically, you can create a lot of these. You can choose which features you want. The more features you add to it, the more complex your smart contract becomes, and the higher are the deployment fees and gas fees. So you could have a tendency to go and turn on everything, right? But I would say that, just be a little cautious. Just figure out what do you really want, and then, just turn on those items. Okay. Right, then you deploy a contract always first on testnet. If it looks good on testnet, then put it on mainnet. And again, even these people with Haymint also, you can build your own NFT minting page. And once you have done that, you can start sharing with people. And then, people can, basically people can mint your NFT. So this is the second platform. Let's go back to this one. So your map. This is the last thing, the manifold one. So manifold gives you two options, right? One, you can also just edit your own contract, which only gives you only this much option, right? So there isn't like a lot of details to change. And the second thing you can do is go to dashboard. So when you go to the dashboard here, it will again show you the option to edit the contract, but that's just this part. You can mint tokens to a wallet. So owner wallets generally don't have to pay any royalties or anything, right? Or even the fees of minting. So for that purpose, you have to actually mint from an owner wallet. Okay. Then, you can create like a burn redeem page. So if you, in one of the options, there was something called as burn. So generally when people burn NFTs, they're trying to make that NFT supply lesser. Okay. So you can, if you have added that in your contract, you can choose those options. Once all of this is ready, you've tested it well, you can start this token creation process is the same as what we saw here, right? You can just create your tokens. If I click on create, it will ask me what kind of token I want, right? Single token, batch of tokens, edition. Let's just say I say batch of token and put in the same words. It's let's just say it's say it's X Arbis 86. That's the name of my company. Just say confirm. And then here you can actually upload your batch files again. You can edit each individual token in the batch file after uploading it. Upload files in the order in which you want the tokens to appear. So manifold is a little less sophisticated when, compared to Haymint and Orbis, Haymint and NiftyKit. Okay, but it works. And most of the times people are using manifold to drop collections that are like, small in size. So mostly you see a lot of artists using manifold. They're just trying to drop, a collection with 5 or 10 of their one pieces in it, right? One of pieces, some digital artwork they have created. A lot of people use manifold that way because it just has a very easy to manage process. So, a lot of people you see they're just using manifold. Especially if they're just trying to drop like 5 or 10 things. I thought we'll actually finish ahead of time, but it seems like we still use the full hour. But yeah, this was again just an introduction, just figuring out how do you get things going. I'll show you what this mint page looks like. So here I have the public, oh, there you go. Yeah. So I'm going to share this also. In fact, if you guys want and you have some Matic, you can probably even mint this, right? You can just collect it if you want. But yeah, basically this is what the end users see. These are options you can configure over here. So if you want people to mint, you basically just share this with them. And here, as you can see, because we don't have any price, it just shows as a free mint. But if there was a price, they would have seen the price, right? And then yes, if you're trying to mint one, right, it just shows you how much. So they need a little bit of Matic on production. Just shows how much Matic they need. It's less than, it's just like, a cent, right? So once they go and confirm it, they'll be able to mint the collection. Okay. So I think that's all from my end. I'll stop sharing here. I hope that everybody who attended, they got some value out of this, right? If you have any other questions for me right now, go ahead, ask it, or else we can wrap up this call.